Before we start this video, a large thank you to Nuts Irwin, Thomas Bischoff, and Laymace for their support on Patreon. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hello guys, and today we're going to start our equipment system. So first we're going to start off by adding our helmet equipments. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to switch out your helmets to other helmets that you have on your character. So first, let's start by creating a script. It will be called equipment item. It will derive from the class of item. Now, I thought about doing this several different ways, and I decided to do it a simpler way than the way I did it in my standalone project because I tailored that way for these models specifically. I'm going to try to do this so no matter what model is using, it will work for you. So I'll start off by saying namespace minus SG. I'm going to delete start and update method. I'm going to make this derive from the item class, as I said before, so it inherits the name and such. Now, next I'm going to make a header, and I'm going to call this defense bonuses. And I'm just going to put down public float physical defense. Then you can put some pseudocode here for your magic defense, your fire defense, your lightning defense, and your dark defense, and yada yada yada. We're going to handle that in future videos when we do the polish aspects, but for now let's just put down the one value. Okay, and now we can save it. Oops, this is actually in the wrong script. So let's copy that and put it in the equipment item script. So basically, we're going to handle this in the simplest way possible. And as you know, on our character, we have children of the character's model themselves that are game objects that act as the helmet's models. So let's make a helmet equipment script and make this derive from the equipment item script. First, put our namespace. Mine again is SG. Going to delete the start and the update functionality. Make this derive from the equipment item class. Alright, so that's fine for now, just empty. Let's make a create asset menu name. I'm going to say items / equipment, and I'm going to say / helmet equipment. So we're doing this so we know it's a specific type of equipment. That's why we gave it its own class called helmet equipment. Now on the player model, as you can see, I have all these parts here for your helmets and your hoods and whatnot, all that stuff. And they are characterized in game objects that are in the children of these headers. So for the male component here, this is for the Sinti models, I have all these helmets here that say, character head, element, no elements, whatever number 04. I'm just going to rename all these to helmet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc., etc. But the key component here is you want to find the parent of the game object that contains the game objects of your actual armor. So right here it says male head, no elements. I'm going to change that to male helmets. And we're basically going to add a script to this that will toggle on and off the separate game objects depending on which helmet you actually have equipped. So let's make a helmet model changer script. And I chose to do it this way and not the more complicated way because I figured a lot of models you use, if they do have armor, the armor will be added onto the model as a child game object that you can toggle on or off. So I figure like this is the best way to have the possibility of encompassing other models outside of Sinti models. Before I did it with skin mesh renderers, but that can get a little bit more complicated, and also it doesn't always work for a lot of other random model types. So we're going to do it this way. It is the simplest and easiest and the best way to do it with a model like this that will potentially reach a wider audience. So I'm going to say public list, and we're going to make a list of game objects. And we're going to call this list helmet models. And this is a list of every child game object under this game object that the script's attached. So basically every helmet model that you have on your character. And then we're going to make a private void get all helmet models. And it's very simple. All we're going to say is int children game objects. And we're going to equal that to transform.child count. Okay? And then we're going to make a for loop here. And we're going to say for each children game objects. So for every child game object there is under this transform, we're going to say helmet models.add that transform.getChild, and we're going to pass the I for the child that we got in our loop.game object. So basically for every game object child that there is under this one, add it to our list of helmet models as a game object. And then we're just going to, on awake, we're going to say get all helmet models. And now if we go into the game and we click play, as you can see, the helmet models will populate a list. And you can see if I click there, they correspond to the correct models that are, or game objects rather, that are under the male helmets game object. So this is great. What can we do with this? Well, we can now make another function here called, I'm just going to call this hide all helmet models. Okay, so what we're going to want to do here now is basically just, we're going to say another for loop again, or for each, sorry. And we're going to say for each game object in helmet models, which means for every basically game object helmet model that we have in our list, we're just going to disable them by saying helmet models, or sorry, item.setActive is equal to false. So when we call this, we're going to call this function when we're switching helmets or we're unequipping our helmets. We're just basically hiding all the models that have to do with helmets on our character. Cool. And now we need to make a functionality. I'm actually going to rename this so it's a bit more name nicer, I guess. We're going to say unequip all helmet models. And now we can make a function for equipping a specific helmet model by name. So let's say public void is right. Public void equip helmet model by name. And then we're going to have to pass a string for the name of the helmet. All right, now we're going to say a for loop, and we're going to say for each helmet models.count. So it's going to check the whole list we have now of our helmet models. And if, we're going to make an if statement here, we're going to say if the helmet model in this list, I think I used, I'm got to use these, not those. There we go. Dot name is equal to helmet name. And then we're going to basically helmet models I.setActive. So if the name matches the one that we're searching for in our list of helmets, we're going to turn that one on and set it active. Okay, now if we start the game, we should actually have no helmet equipped. We'll be headless. So before we do that, let's go over here to the player inventory. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a header, and I'm going to say current equipment. So this will be like your helmet, your chest plate, or your plate legs and your gloves, etc., etc. This is the 4 equipment slots. We're going to say public helmet equipment, current helmet equipment. And for now, that's fine. And over here, I'm just going to say header quick slots. Just going to keep this a bit neat and organized. All right, looks good. Now, minimize this here. Let's add a component. Actually, we already have this made. I forgot this is actually on the model below us. So yeah, if we go over to the player equipment manager now, which we're going to use for handling all of our models being equipped and unequipped, just think of this as like basically the model instantiator, kind of like our weapon slot manager, but for our equipment. So we're going to say helmet model changer. We can call that unawake. But first, I'm actually going to move that. Actually, I'm just going to make a header right here. I'm going to say equipment model changers, because in the future we're going to have, I'll just put the pseudocode here so you know. We'll have one for our chest or body armor, and then we'll have one for our leg equipment. And we're going to do these videos right in a row, by the way. We'll have one for our hand equipment. And yeah, that's fine. And awake here, we're just going to say helmet model changer equals get component in children, because it does rest on the game object on the child in the hierarchy. So let's call that there. We're good to go. And we actually want to make a start function here now. And we're going to say helmet model changer dot unequip all helmet models. And now if we start the game, I'm going to save this, we should have no head. So let's do that. Yep, okay, we are headless. Cool. Now, let's actually drop a helmet into our equipment slot on our player inventory and set it up so it loads a helmet there. So I'm going to copy this name here, male helmet 05. I'm going to create a folder for equipment, and this is in the items folder, in the data folder. I'm then going to right click, I'm going to go to items, equipment, and then I'm going to make a helmet equipment item. I'm just going to call this knight's helmet. And let's actually do something else here real quick. Let's go to the helmet equipment script, and let's make a string. And we're going to make the string to declare the model name itself, so it's different from the item name. So I'm just going to say public string, let's just say helmet model name. And this is different from the actual item name that will appear in UI. This is like the reference to the actual game object model itself. So for example, this one's called Male Helmet 05. I'm just going to copy and paste Male Helmet 05 in the helmet model name. I'm just going to say Knight's Helmet in the actual item name, because Knight's Helmet is what you're going to see in the UI. Male Helmet 05 you won't see anywhere. It's just referencing the game object. All right, so now if I go to the player model here, and the player, and go to the inventory, let's actually go to the current helmet equipment, and let's put in the Knight's Helmet. Now we actually have to make a way to equip that, so let's go to our equipment manager, and then we're going to say on start, we're going to say helmet model changer dot equip helmet by item name, and we're going to pass our player inventory dot current helmet equipment, and then we're going to say dot helmet model name. And now, when we start the game, as you will see, we should have our player's helmet equipped. So let's do that real quick. And there we go. We have a helmet equipped. Excellent. And to show you this works, I'm going to make another one just so it's different. Let's go to the data folder, right-click. Let's go to Items, Equipment, Helmet Equipment. I'm just going to call this Fallen Knight's Helmet. Okay, and then inside the helmet model name, I'm just going to copy this and say Male Helmet 6. So it's different than 5. And now let's change the Knight's Helmet to Fallen Knight's Helmet, and watch, as we start the game, our helmet will be different. All right, there we go, guys. Now, we have the basis of our equipment system. Now, in the future, we're going to do the chest, legs, and gloves, and then we're going to circle back and handle different genders and our default skins or meshes. And by that I mean, basically, if you unequip your helmet and you have no helmet equipped, we're going to make it so your default character head spawns in. And if you don't have any chest plate equipped or legs or gloves, you're just going to see like the default chests or shorts and your hands, etc., etc. And we will make a check for people who have both male and female models, because I know sometimes the female equipment rests on a different game object. It's not all under the same one, so we'll have to make different scripts. But we will handle all that, and it'll be very straightforward and very simple. Do not fret. If you made it this far, please drop a like on the video. It does genuinely help the series get around, guys. And if you're feeling generous, drop a comment below. It does help appease the YouTube algorithm gods. And if you're feeling like a total champion, check out my Patreon below. I can't wait to get started on the next few episodes in this equipment system, and I will see you guys in the next episode.